Alrighty, boob tubes, another one of Keeps Cleeps. So how do you usurp Parliament and stop Parliament having its say to call for a ceasefire in Israel? Why would this happen? Are you confused? Because they're trying to shift through all this media shite about what happened yesterday. Not one of them can tell you the straight story the way I see it. So, how do you usurp and stop a democratically elected body calling for a ceasefire? Well, I give you... hold on, I don't give you anybody. Trying to give you it, but I've lost it. I give you Sir Lindsay Hoy. So what happened yesterday was the SNP was meant to be having a vote to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. Now, the wording is important when you're thinking legally here. They wanted to call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, right? End of. There's elements within the UK Parliament who will and have usurped the whole mechanisms of Parliament. Agree, disagree. You can understand half of them. They're fucking just a gentleman's agreement. They've usurped the whole parliamentary system to ensure that the wording, and legally speaking, this is important, it's not an immediate ceasefire, but now they're calling for a moving towards a continuous ceasefire. Now, you walk into court and go, well, we said we would have a ceasefire, but only when we could guarantee a lasting ceasefire. I think that was the wording, right? There you've got an argument, lawyer speak. You walk into a courtroom and say, well, I called for, you signed this bit of paper, you were held accountable, this is what we called for, an immediate ceasefire. You can't really argue with that. So the devil is in the detail here. So what happened through this speaker's conduct, he allowed something that had never happened before. It had never been a gentleman's agreement. It was kind of like expected never to happen. And what he done, by allowing a Labour to open up one of their own amendments, they completely fucked up the ability for the SNP to use... if you look at the numbers, you know how many MPs each team has, if you want to get me, and how many... That's what the whips are there for, to whip all their MPs into under the thumb, basically. So what he done yesterday was usurp Parliament and stop the House, who were just about to vote for an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza-Israeli war, Hamas, fuck, whatever you want to call it. So this man is shelling like a villain for Israel. Now let's see what the BBC saying. Let's see their absolute gobbledygook. Right, so Sir Lindsay apologised for his decision, but said he'd done it to ensure MP safety. No, he didn't. He done it. Now, there's all this shit happening. There's all this back noise of MPs getting harassed, people provoking idiots, windy lickers to go and harass MPs. Is it now showing you who this serves? They were talking about having a closed fucking sitting in that yesterday. No joke. So there's your open and honest Parliament. That had never happened before. He apologised, but it was to ensure MP safety. What a crock of shite. All it did was ensure that through the mechanisms of Parliament, they couldn't call for an immediate ceasefire. That's all it done. It comes after... It comes after Sir Lindsay departed from convention to allow MPs to vote on a Labour amendment calling for a ceasefire in Israeli-Hamas war. The amendment was to change the wording. And they're not telling you the wording, but you can go and find it out there. In fact, I had it up earlier if I've... Right. go into the National and you'll get all the wording. And you'll see, like, it's so small. It's the call for an immediate ceasefire that SNP were going to get through, and Labour's amendment to call for bad stuff to stop happening and work towards a permanent ceasefire. Not an immediate ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire. It's calling for a permanent ceasefire, or a sustainable ceasefire, sorry. Permanent, sustainable ceasefire. That isn't the same as calling for an immediate ceasefire. Because then you've got the argument, right? We said that it can't. The ceasefire can't be sustainable on our side if Hamas is still there. It's not the same as calling for a ceasefire right now. And my God, the amount of gobbledygook these people go through to bamboozle you with bullshit. When if you look what actually happened yesterday. See, even though the MPs were shouting at each other and running out of the fucking flat the other night, the MPs were running out the parliament and stuff. You just heard like one of the commentators getting in like, oh, and by the way, the Labour motion passed. So the SNP guy wants the vote to happen again, and it's not going to be allowed to happen because that's not the way it works. Although what happened last night isn't the way it works. So how do you usurp Parliament? This guy's done it through a technicality. A technicality. Alrighty, boob tubes. Get it. Got it. Good. Get cheese. No cats or cheese were used in this film.
Clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. And $19.95 plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell.